Good afternoon, folks. It's 2 o'clock, and most of us are still here. So, because we've got a particularly important thing happening later on this afternoon, I'll get started now. It's absolutely my pleasure to talk about the origins of Ipmen and then hand over to Kitty, who will be speaking via a pre-recorded video. So it was fascinating. Mike this morning spoke about educators being flexible. So I'm being flexible. I'll get to this in a minute. The other thing that Mike said was he talked about skipping stones, and I really related to that. So I'm going to say a little bit about my background because it really does relate to where I'm going to here. Like Mike, my childhood was spent on a beach, on a shore, in canoes. And probably the best thing that happened to me in terms of where I've ended up doing what I do is when I was 11 years old, my grandmother gave me a field guide to shells. And that opened me, my eyes to this magic world, and my mad shell collecting probably still continues. Unlike Mike, I was not good at school. I'm okay in this room now, but 4 walls did not suit my learning style. And I know that there's quite a few people that might have that same thing. So it's quite amazing that I actually ended up at a university, and 51 years ago, 1974, I began my teaching career as a high school biology and science teacher. I also got married in the same year, 1974, so and I'm still teaching and I'm still married. So that must have been a great achievement. When I started, I moved into an old rundown high school, and I inherited an old rundown biology laboratory that had nothing in it other than tables and chairs. And that wasn't my style. So I very quickly changed that around and filled the room with aquariums and terrariums. And because I had a lifelong early passion for marine, even though I had no marine science training in my background, I featured a lot of marine programs at that school because I could walk over to one of 2 temporary marine aquariums and use those live specimens in all of my teaching. I only spent 3 years at that school. I wish I'd had more time, because someone in our education ministry said, we need people to write curriculum, environmental curriculum. And they dragged me, not kicking and screaming, they dragged me out of the classroom and put me with a whole lot of like-minded people. And for about 3 or 4 years, I wrote environmental curriculum, and I learned a whole new set of skills. But again, that job dried up. And since that time, probably for about 40 years, I've worked freelance as an author. And I don't mean to boast. Oops. But I've published over 100 books. And it's the royalties for those books that pays for my trips to things like Ipmen and the MIA conferences. I've got to spend the money somehow. I also worked as an exhibit designer. I went from 2 dimensions to explaining the natural world in 3 dimensions. That was fun, and it still is. I worked as a consultant and as an associate teaching associate at Monash Uni for a long time. So that brings me to this spot here. Ipmen was created by the Marine Education Association of Australasia and the National Marine Education Education Association, or the original concept came out of those two organisations. It's fascinating with when we created MESA, and I'll explain a bit more in a minute, we had a lot of marine scientists at that meeting, and they didn't want to call it the Marine Educators Association. And we've sort of had this theme running through. There were quite a few scientists that regarded themselves not as educators, but the fact that they were interested in education. And we decided we weren't going to just do Australia. We were going to do Australasia. So there's a branch in New Zealand, and we could go all the way through the Australasian region if we wanted. But that's where my 50-year thing came back in. Now, hopefully I'll hit the right. Technology and me don't go very well. When I first started teaching at Monash University, there were overhead projectors. I could handle an overhead projector. It's sort of like analog technology. When I went back many years later and did a whole lot of other things, it was this kind of technology. And the students knew when I came in and something wouldn't work, oh, Harry. So I needed a 10-year-old kid to do something for me. Okay. I had a look back at the history of the National Marine Education Association, and it formally started at Asilomar in California in October 1976. And Mike, were you there? No. Details of the history of NMEA can be found on this fabulous YouTube video by Mike Sprenger himself, and there's the link. And I found on the NMEA history page, that's the invite to come along. I missed a little bit there. The important thing about that was marine educators didn't just appear magically out of the woodwork in 1976. A lot had been going on beforehand. It's just they formally got together. And the same in Australia. A scientist in Melbourne, when we had a marine sciences meeting at Queenscliff in Victoria, which is just across the bay from me, he got together 17 marine educators from around Australia. So we've been doing things as well. There's a history of MESA at our little MESA website. Like a lot of organisations, basically the Australian Association for Environmental Ed formed in 1980. I was one of the people that formed that. We then formed MESA in 1984. And by 2015, it was just too hard to run the two organisations, so we merged them together. So everything MESA is now AA. And so that was us in December 1984 on the clown line down in the front. And it was I only knew a couple of those people to start with, but most of them are still very close friends. Unfortunately, 4 of them now are no longer with us, which is very sad. So the first step was that in the 80s and 90s, both NMEA and MESA had strong regional networks. And the other thing they did was national conferences, newsletters. It was following a MESA workshop that I'm proud to say I organised on a almost deserted island fairly near to Melbourne. It's French Island. It's just a great big national park. But it's surrounded by mangroves. It's a fabulous place. And there are no made roads. They're all gravel roads. And we were all driving around French Island, all of us rocking along in the bus. And John happened to be sitting next to a colleague of this lady, Vicky Osis. And I need to acknowledge that Vicky was a president of NMEA and a real leader of NMEA. Unfortunately, she's passed away recently too. But John sat next to a teacher who was from Newport in Oregon, which is where Vicky worked. And the teacher was on one of these things called the Job Exchange, a teacher exchange, International Teaching Fellowship. And she said to John, why don't you do a job exchange with my friend Vicky? And that's what happened. In February 1990, John spent a month in Newport in Oregon doing Vicky's job and living in Vicky's house and driving Vicky's car. And Vicky came to Queenscliff and did John's job and used his house and his car. It's a scheme we should actually look at doing more. So after that, all of us in Australia, because John came back and raved about America and all the amazing things there. So we said, well, take us. And so we did. In February 1990, we took 23 totally mad Aussies on a trip. We flew into Los Angeles, drove all the way to Seattle, drove all the way down to San Diego, then all the way back. And I achieved one of my life's ambitions. I went rock crawling in the snow in Newport in Oregon. So we spent a week in Newport. So that's the British in Newport, and that's the Marco Hatfield Marine Centre research vessel that we went out on. But you can see we're walking through the snow. John then organised the second study tour from Mesa people. They went to the Namia conference in 1992. In the year 2000, I took another group of Aussies to the Namia conference in Long Beach. And that's where I met Mike. And as I think we've said a couple of times now, at breakfast, as most good things happen over either food or beer or wine, we didn't have any beer at breakfast. Sure. Mike sat down with me and said, well, Namia's planning a conference in Hawaii in 2005. Why don't we make it a worldwide thing? And so that started 5 years of plotting and planning. So that's our little group that went to the US. Harry, my wife, Anna, Cherie, and Ian, and these are our hosts in LA. Through the aquarium in Los Angeles, I just sent them a message and said there's a few mad Aussies coming. I got a message back, oh, do you want to stay with some of our... So they all volunteer at the aquarium and they looked after us and took us around everywhere. I think that's the Labrador Tarpies. The other thing I did was I saw someone with a map of the world and I had to explain to him, mate, you've got it upside down. We printed up T-shirts using that poster. So I think, and really sort of, again, the Pacific's in the centre and that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Oops. So between 2000 and 2005, Vicky and Mike in the US, and me and my friend Jody and my friend Mark in Melbourne, although Mark lived in Queenscliff, which was the other side of the bay to me. I lived on that side of the bay, and Jody lived at the top of the bay. So Jody would drive down to Queenscliff, I'd catch the ferry across, and we'd sit in the cafe in Queenscliff and plot and plan. The funding for UMF came from via Mike with SIGGRANT, and that was in the days when I could actually lever money out of the Australian government. The Australian government now I would find it very hard to lever money out of them. So, how am I going? Oh, pretty good. In 2005, Namia and Lisa succeeded in holding the One Ocean Marine Forum. And I think it was Jody that came up with the One Ocean. She must have seen it somewhere. But now, considering that the first ocean literacy principle is we have one big ocean, it was quite a good thing to come up with. And the original aim of UMF was to create a global network. Oh, and that's the logo that Jody created, the fish with one ocean on it. The original aim of UMF to create a global network of marine educators and scientists to share knowledge and resources to solve ocean-related environmental issues. And so that takes me to the next one. So Kitty, it would have been fabulous if Kitty Simmons had been here, because there were a lot of key people at that meeting, but two really important ones were Sylvia and Kitty, her boss. And Kitty will explain how it all came about, but I sort of found out about this when Sylvia contacted me and said, Kitty wants to fund the next stages. So at all, the Western Pacific Regional Fisheries Management Council supported its aim by facilitating an international meeting of marine educators and scientists focused on the Pacific. So it was Kitty's idea that we would, rather than the world, would focus on the Pacific and the communities that depend on it. So I'll hand over to the video from Kitty now. Oh, hold on, do you want to say anything before?
Cocktails, coup, and COVID. The inception, creation, and growth of Ipmen. Aloha. I'm Kitty Simons, the Executive Director of the Western Pacific Regional Fishery Management Council. It is an honor today to celebrate work. Before I begin reflecting on Ipmen, I'd like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Taiwan's National Sun Yat-sen University and National Academy of Marine Science for hosting this conference. I'd also like to thank the organizing committee, especially the co-convener, Dr. Yen of the National Taiwan University. Thank you all for your dedicated support of this volunteer organization. I'd also like to spend a moment to recognize the indigenous peoples who once inhabited this area. I am sure their ancestral ghosts are still present. May they bless this gathering. I'm grateful to be here today, not only because we're celebrating Ip's 20th anniversary, but also because I am a strong believer in this conference's theme, the dialogue between traditional ecological knowledge and ocean literacy. I believe that the survival of our marine ecosystems and coastal communities can only happen if our indigenous communities and Western scientists come together to boost the way we observe, the way we relate to, and the way we educate our youth about the ocean. My belief stems from both personal and professional experiences. As a native Hawaiian, born upcountry on the island of Maui, I witnessed from an early age my mother practicing the old ways. I recall her outdoors at night in the dark, under the moonlight, caring for and relating to plants in ways she undoubtedly learned from her ancestors. Unfortunately, because of illnesses I had as a youth, my parents sent me to Honolulu to live, and I was never taught these practices. In Honolulu and later in Washington, D.C., I learned the Western ways of understanding and relating to the natural world. After years working in Washington, D.C. as a congressional aide, I returned to Honolulu and began working for the Western Pacific Regional Fishery Management Council. This is a federal agency that has authority over the offshore fisheries of Hawaii, American Samoa, Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, and 7 remote U.S. Pacific islands, an area of 1.5 million square nautical miles. For the past 40 years plus, I have served as executive director. Most of the council members who were born and raised in the Pacific Islands, where the indigenous population ranges from 20% in Hawaii to 90% in American Samoa. The experience and wisdom of these council members and the indigenous fishing communities they represent have enlarged my understanding and appreciation for TEK. U.S. fishery management policy is Western-based, and scientists are recognized as the key advisors to the Council. The Magnuson-Stevens Fishery Conservation and Management Act dictates that the Council have a scientific and statistical committee, and that Council decisions are based on the best scientific information available. But the Act also allows the Council to create other committees, and we have had, from the early days, a Fishery Rights of Indigenous Peoples Committee. The Council has conducted research on issues ranging from historical rights and uses of marine resources to traditional proverbs about weather. We have researched traditional timekeeping methods and annually produce lunar calendars in the region's 4 official languages: Hawaiian, Samoan, Chamorro, and Rafalawish, as well as English. These calendars are provided to educators, fishermen, community members, and policymakers, both locally in Washington, D.C. Policymakers working in the nation's capital are thousands of miles from our islands and often have little to no awareness of our indigenous communities. So to bring awareness to them, the Council participates in events in D.C., including the annual Capitol Hill Ocean Week. In 2012, with the assistance from Matson and the Guam-based tradition about seafaring islands, Tasi, the Council displayed a Chamorro Proa, which is a traditional sailing canoe, at the Chow Gala. Some of the other initiatives to which the Council has provided a major contribution include the following: Ho'ohanuhanu ina kupuna puvalu, Honor Our Ancestors, in 2006. TEK Summit, Building Windows to Future, Lessons, Learning, and Adaptations on Kauai, 2009. Inaugural First Stewards Conference on Coastal Peoples Address Climate Change in Washington, D.C. in 2012. The second First Stewards Symposium, Uniting Indigenous Voices on Climate Change in Washington, D.C. in 2014. A video, Little Changes Have Big Impacts on Little Islands, Relying on Tradition to Sustain Resources, in 2014. Traditional-Based Natural Resource Management, Practice and Application in the Hawaiian Islands, published by Palgrave Macmillan in 2019. Pacific Indigenous Delegation to Ocean Obs 19 Conference and the Ahahonua Declaration on how Western scientists can work with indigenous communities, in 2019. As Council members deliberate and make decisions, they have acknowledged the shortcomings of scientific data and model outputs, as well as their value in showing a snapshot of a situation. Through these experiences, I am viscerally aware of the importance of a dialogue between TEK, holistic in its viewpoint, and ocean literacy based on Western science. Along with TEK, the Council has been involved in education throughout its existence, spanning nearly 50 years. One of our 7 guiding principles is to conduct education and outreach to foster good stewardship principles and broad and direct public participation in the Council's decision-making process. The Council has attended and presented at conferences of the National Marine Educators Association since 1984, and Council staff served on numerous local and international marine education organizations as officers and board members. Besides TEK and education, the Council is actively internationally involved, as highly migratory tuna are our primary fisheries. We pioneered the use of a vessel monitoring system, which is now used globally, banned bottom trawling and drift gill netting, and reduced seabird and turtle interactions by 90% in longline fisheries. We helped to create a Pacific International Tuna Management Organization. We co-hosted 4 international fisheries forums to transfer protected species measures to other fishing nations, including one in Taipei in 2010. We sponsored and participated in many marine debris conferences, including 5 international conferences held in Hawaii. Given the educational and international focus of the Council, it is no surprise that we were among the 27 participants at the One Ocean Marine Forum, OOMF, on Maui in July 2005. The 2-day forum was run as a so-called cocktail party without cocktails. I suggested that instead of a worldwide marine educator network, we begin by establishing a Pacific Marine Educators Network. This network could serve as a model for the development of other similar regional international organizations worldwide, which could eventually connect with each other. This was the inception of Ipmen at UMF. The first Ipmen conference was initially scheduled to be co-hosted by the Council and the University of the South Pacific, January 2007 in Fiji. Then in 2006, political unrest in Fiji began to mount. So the organizing committee in December 2006 agreed that the conference should be relocated. The next day, away, as we say in Hawaiian, Fiji experienced a political coup. The conference was moved to Honolulu in record time. About 100 individuals participated from 18 Pacific and territories. Through the technical expertise of the College of Exploration, 6 of the 70 oral presentations were delivered in real time via the web. Videos of the entire conference are available online, and the proceedings were prepared by the Council and published in Current, the Journal of Marine Education. By all accounts, the conference was a success. With the official formation of Ipmen, the Council created the Ipmen logo, which continues to be used today. The Ipmen Organizing Committee decided that Ipmen conferences should be held biannually. The second Ipmen conference, Sustaining the Pacific, Learning from Elders, Listening to Youth, was held October 2008 in Townsville, Australia, joining the nearly 100 people from more than 15 countries across the Pacific who attended in person were online delegates who were able to view presentations in real time via the College of Exploration's website. We were, of course, grateful for this web option because a council meeting held at the same time made it impossible for the staff to travel. So we made a room available for 3 days at the Pagoda Hotel, where a Hawaii node, including council staff, gathered to participate together from afar. The conference concluded with a forum that created Ipmen's first 3-year plan, its vision and mission statements, and a traditional Indigenous Knowledge Committee. Between the second and third conferences, the Ipmen Point of Contact Database Committee met twice in April 2010 to discuss how to use and grow the list of people who had been involved in Ipmen. The committee also discussed how to link the database to the Ipmen Facebook page, Google list, and website. The University of the South Pacific hosted the third Ipmen conference, July 2010 in Fiji. The council provided seed money to help with planning, fundraising, and securing the venue, as well as a letter of support to help with fundraising efforts. The 2010 theme was Prepare Whilst There Is Time, Marine Education in the New Millennium. The conference focused on gaps in existing Pacific marine education, incorporating traditional and place-based knowledge to build healthy, sustainable coastal communities, the changing role of women in fisheries, and climate change impacts on Pacific children. The conference included field trips to a plantation, a local primary school, a bird park, and a village greywater management and marine protected area. At Ipmen 210, the network's vision and mission statements were revised. The Fiji's education minister approved the introduction of marine science as an academic subject, and UNESCO offered for Ipmen to join its capacity building program under the Pacific Cultural and Natural Heritage Hub. In 2011, the idea proposed at UMF that Ipmen serve as a model for international marine education networks in other regions of the world began to come into fruition with the creation of the European Marine Educators Association. Its mission is to act as a hub for the European community to promote and deliver ocean literacy across society by working with scientists, teachers, policymakers, and the public. The fourth Ipmen conference was held 2012 in Chile. The theme was One Big Ocean, Many Dreams. The goal was to jumpstart marine education in Chile. The conference was Ipmen's first bilingual conference and included translators and interpreters in English and Spanish. The conference began in Santiago with a forum on marine education hosted by Chile's Minister of Foreign Affairs and education fair for teachers on the 7 ocean literacy principles, a day of conference presentations, and an open session to discuss the future of Ipmen. On the third day, the conference moved south to Patagonia, where Copa Sur Austral and the Center for Ecosystem Research organized a seminar on sustainable marine practices in the fjords of Chile. The final days of Ipmen 2012 involved a field session at Caleta Tortel, in a boat excursion to a glacier, and a dinner with the mayor of Tortel, featuring cultural food, dance, and music. The fifth Ipmen conference was held July 2014 in Tokyo and Iwate, Japan. Tsuyoshi Sasaki, the chair, explained the importance of bringing Ipmen to Iwate, which had been destroyed by a 2011 earthquake and tsunami. The conference theme was Contact, Connect, Convey, with or through the ocean. Unfortunately, the council was again holding a meeting at the time of that conference, so staff was unable to travel to the event. However, again, the council provided the facilities for a Hawaii node to participate in the conference remotely. Besides the Ipmen conference, 2014 saw the creation of another regional educator association, the Canadian Network for Ocean Education, CANOE. In 2015, an association for Asia Marine Educators was discussed at NMEA conference. The Asia Marine Educators Association would be formed from this discussion. In August 2016, the sixth Ipmen conference was held in Manado, Indonesia. The theme was Making a Splash, Moving Education into Action. In 2018, the seventh Ipmen conference was held in October at the National Taiwan Ocean University in Keelung, Taiwan. The theme was Co-constructing the Development System for Marine Education. The findings of the conference were used as a reference point for the Taiwan Ministry of Education to make or modify related policy in the future. In 2019, the fourth International Marine Education Association took place with the establishment of the Latin American in Spanato. Relato started as a dream of two marine educators in Chile, and by 2022, the network included 15 country coordinators who represent the network in their countries, and more than 1,000 members. In 2020, planning for the 8th Ipmen conference, titled One Ocean, Many Connections, was well underway. But then, as with the original Ipmen conference to have been held in Fiji in 2007, plans came to a halt, a screeching halt, this time due to the COVID-19 pandemic rather than a political coup. With the conference canceled, the Ipmen principals diverted their attention to organizing a 3-hour strategy forum, and it was held online September 2020 with technical and facilitation support from the Whitener Group. Prior to the meeting, more than 50 people completed a pre-forum survey. The results of the forum were used to draft a 3-year strategic plan to move Ipmen closer to achieving its mission. In 2023, the 8th Ipmen Conference was hosted by Ocean Networks Canada at the University of Victoria on Vancouver Island. Council staff took advantage of opportunities to participate remotely. The theme for the Ipmen 2023 conference was linking traditional ecological knowledge and ocean literacy. And that brings us to the 2025 Ipmen conference. TEK Perspective to Ocean Literacy Dialogue, Voices from Asia Pacific, which will conclude shortly with a presentation of the Takao Declaration. This declaration encapsulates 20 years of Ipmen efforts and advocacy, setting forth a direction for global collaboration in the next decade. This declaration calls for greater global attention to the importance of TEK and ocean literacy, emphasizing the necessity of multi-stakeholder cooperation for sustainable ocean development. The Takao Declaration is set to be presented at the 3rd UN Conference in France in June, advocating for worldwide commitment to ocean protection, marine education, and the shared knowledge of ecological wisdom. The Western Pacific Fishery Management Council is proud to support the Sakao Declaration. It aligns with the Council's TEK efforts undertaken for nearly half a century. We hope the Declaration's message will take traction quickly, deeply, and widely, so coastal communities can, as the Fiji elders advise, prepare whilst there's time, using the tools of both Western science and TEK wisdom. Ipmen today celebrates the inception, creation, and growth of an international network of marine educators that was conceived a cocktail-less cocktail party and has managed through volunteer work to overcome a coup and a global pandemic to organize 9 conferences throughout the Pacific. These conferences led to the adoption of marine education in Fiji, offered solace to tsunami victims in Japan, and furthered the understanding of ocean literacy and traditional ecological knowledge as tools that marine educators can use to help sustain our shared ocean. Ipmen has allowed participation worldwide through web conferencing, reducing its contribution to atmospheric CO2, leading to global warming. As was proposed at the One Ocean Marine Forum in 2005, Ipmen has served as a model for the creation of similar networks in other regions of the world. With these accomplishments completed, I believe Ipmen is now ready to evolve to the next stage. As proposed in 2005 at OOMF, once regional networks are established, they can join to form a global network of marine educators. Therefore, I recommend that Ipmen 2027 conference in Honolulu bring together representatives from the national and international marine educators associations worldwide for a discussion on how we can work together to achieve our common goals. Thank you for a wonderful conference, and may Ipmen accomplishments continue to grow, evolve, and be celebrated worldwide. Ahui ho, until we meet again.
Now, the first thing I need to say, and I've spoken to Sylvia about this, is we're not totally locked into Hawaii in 2027. There are strategic reasons for it, and the link with NMEA in Hawaii in 2027. But our friends from the Solomon Islands also, American Samoa, thank you, previously expressed interest and have been working on the possibility of then hosting Ipmen 2027. So one of the things that hopefully will come out of here is we can form a small working group to look at Ipmen 2027 and maybe then Ipmen 2029. But certainly it will be hopefully somewhere based in the Central Pacific and definitely clearly linked, as Kitty said there, to the gathering of NMEA folk in Honolulu, in Hawaii, in the middle of 2027.
Yeah, in fact, Kitty's speech originally said America Samoa, and then we heard that NMEA was going to be held in Honolulu, and so then we go, okay, we'll change that. And so, anyways, yeah, so it's a flex. I mean, if it's an American Samoa, that would be fantastic, because one of the missions for Ipmen was to go from the north to the south, you know, and try to go back and forth. In fact, one of the presentations we saw showed about how there's a discrepancy in the opportunities for marine education in the northern hemisphere and in the southern hemisphere. You guys remember that slide? So we definitely like to bring things back south, and I've traveled to America so many times, and they work with the Department of Marine and Wildlife Resources, and they know how to put on a dash, I can tell you. So, and their place is right on the ocean, and it was totally destroyed by the tidal wave, and you guys reconstructed it, right? So, yeah, if we can go to Samoa, that's great. The one thing is it might cost a little more for the plane fare, and they have like 2 flights a week from different places, depending on when you're going, but on the route it's twice a week. So, but if we can do it, that would be fantastic.
Thank you, everyone. So, I guess we're going to American Samoa for the next one. Yay! Thank you. So, that's, again, I would relate back to my educators need to be flexible. Flexibility is one of the key things. Now, the plan, the time, it's, I finished 2:45, which is what was wanted. So the dignitaries are arriving at 3? From 3 to 3:30. Yeah, so before 3:30. So we'll head off now and come back. Maybe everyone aims to be back in here about 3:15. You reckon? Yeah. The only other thing I just wanted to add is something related to what I'm going to hopefully say at the start of the next session is I think the magic of Ipmen is that we never created a board structure, and we seem to get through by this magic combination of volunteers and support from people like the Western Pacific Fisheries Management Council, and in this case the Oceans Affairs people in Taiwan. So each of our conferences, we found someone who will look at us and say, oh, that's good, yeah, I'll back that. And I think it's a fabulous model for running an organisation like this. But thank you, everyone. Oh, I suppose, any questions? See you back here at 3:15. In my drink bottle. Yeah. You get that. That's why I have a paper drink bottle.
That's a quick announcement that we will have a break time, and that is final chance you can take pictures with the background, the boards, and I hope you can take some pictures and get some memory. And we still have booths there. And 3:20, come back here, okay? 3:20, because 3:30 we will start our press conference, our declaration announcement. So see you 3:20. Yes, if you join the field trip tomorrow, we will 8 o'clock. It will be 8 o'clock in the hotel, Holiday Inn Hotel. And in the morning, we will go to Keliao. It's a fishery village, and they will be doing a lot of marine education with the painting with art. And then we will be there and then join the fishery special food. And then we will go to Chengkong University, that is for conservation for the whale. So they will go to the whale conservation center and to see the schedules and to see their research, and then we will finish, come back and Tainan. So if you want to start in high speed whale and then come back to our hotel. About yes. Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah, we will meeting everyone will start at 8:30. So 8:30 we will be there and start to Korea, and then just introduce the school. We have a picture book readings and a post settlement tour, and then to Tainan that's laboratory and to see the whale and dolphin conservation. Yes, and you can see the announcement. It's all on the announcement. Okay, see you 3:30.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Takao Decoration and Closing Ceremony of Ipmen 2025 at National Sun Yat-sen University in Kaohsiung. We are honored to have you with us today. As we bring in this meaningful conference to a close, we also look forward. Carrying forward the shared values of ocean literacy, collaboration, and cultural respect that have brought us together. Before we begin, let us first acknowledge our distinguished guests. Our Minister Guan Bilin Ocean Affairs Council. President Chen Zhanglin, National Academy of Marine Research. Commissioner Qiu Wenyan, Examination Yuan. Deputy Secretary General Wang Hongrong, Kaohsiung City Government. Deputy Director Wu Wenjin, Education Bureau of Kaohsiung City Government. President Li Zhipeng, National Sun Yat-sen University. Professor Chen Jianhong, National Taiwan Ocean University. Dean Liao Deyu, College of Marine Science and National Sun Yat-sen University. Director Wen Zhihong, National Museum of Marine Biology and Aquarium. Director Wang Liangxuan, National Science and Technology Museum. Now, we would also like to recognize the Ipmen 2025 Conference Committee, whose time, leadership, and dedication made this event possible. Harry from Australia. Sylvia from USA. Mike from USA. Peter from Canada. Yoshi from Japan. Craig from USA. Natalie from Australia. Delani from Guam. Mark from USA. Joanna from USA. We also acknowledge others who have contributed over the past 20 years to advancing ocean literacy and traditional ecological knowledge. Thank you all for your contributions and commitment to organizing Ipmen 2025. To begin our ceremony, let us first look back at the journey that brought us here. Let's enjoy a short video that highlights 20 years of collaboration and impact across the Ipmen network.
Hi, Harry Bridle, all the way from sunny Australia. Greetings to everyone in Kaohsiung, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at this wonderful conference.
Aloha, Ipmen. This is Sylvia Spalding, convener of the 2007 Ipmen conference and the aborted 2020 Ipmen conference due to COVID, and also one of the co-founders of Ipmen. Congratulate all of us on 20 years of Ipmen and 10 successful international conferences. See you in Taiwan. Aloha.
Mike Spranger, University of Florida.
I'm Chong from Korea, marine ecologist.
Happy anniversary.
Hello, I'm Craig.
And I'm Sarah.
We're very happy to be at Ipmen again. Looking forward to seeing you all in Taiwan.
Hello everyone, my name is Yoshi Sasaki. Congratulations, anniversary of Ipmen conference, 20 years.
Hello, I'm Peter Romer. I'm from Ocean Networks Canada. I'm Indigenous Community Liaison, and traditional ecological knowledge is super important for the world in ocean science. I'm in Taiwan for Ipmen.
Hello, my name is Natalie. I'm from Australia and Saltwater Projects, and I'm very happy to be part of the Ipmen team again and being in Taiwan.
Hi, I'm Nina.
I'm Michael.
And we're super excited to be at the Ipmen conference now in Kaohsiung. And yeah, looking forward to this great event.
Hi, I'm Cassie Snymus from Educational Passages. Congratulations to Ipmen's 20th anniversary. It's super exciting. What an accomplishment. Happy to be here and celebrate with everyone.
Aloha, I'm Joanna Philippoff from Hawaii. Happy 20th anniversary, Ipmen.
Hi everyone, my name is Sachiko Uruma.
I'm Miho Takakura.
We're from OPRI Sasaka Peace Foundation. Happy 20th anniversary of Ipmen. Thank
Congratulations.
You. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm happy in Taiwan. On behalf of MA President Vice Admiral Eduardo Mar Santos, I'm Dr. Angelica Bailon, External Relations Director, and greeting. Happy anniversary, Ipmen, on your 20th anniversary.
Hi, I'm Maxine from Italy. I am based in Hong Kong and I study cryptobenthic fish. I'm now in Taiwan at the Ipmen conference. Happy anniversary to Ipmen, 20 years.
Hello everyone, I'm Augustine from WWF Hong Kong.
I'm Karen from WWF Hong Kong.
Yeah, we come to Ipmen conference and we would like to gain more insight for the ocean education.
Happy anniversary, 20th anniversary of Ipmen.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Carlos Rios. I'm a marine biologist from Spain and I'm here to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Ipmen. And I'm going to present my work in Hong Kong in seaweeds and ocean literacy.
Hello, from American Samoa.
I'm Naomi Matani.
And I'm Christina Mutafa. And welcome to Ipmen 2025.
Hi, Leilani from Department of Agriculture and Fisheries Division. Hi, Kara, also from the Guam Department of Agriculture, Guam Core Reef Initiative. Happy 20th anniversary.
I think beautifully in the video. And the final one, I asked him to put this up. I keep asking myself at the age of 76, why do I keep doing this? And my friend Mike and I share these sorts of thoughts. And I'm going to throw Craig in here, it's getting up near that age. That's me and my grandson, Eric. And we were on the beach, he took off his shoes, wandered into the water, and I took off my shoes and wandered into the water. And to me, that's one of my favourite images about why we do what we do also. We're doing it for people like Eric, for our children and our grandchildren, and for the future. And the fact that Eric is wandering, hitching up his pants and wandering out into the sea is a fun part of it. But Eric's leading me out into the ocean. So thank you.
Thank you. We now invite Deputy Secretary General Wang Honglong from the Kaohsiung City Government to deliver his remarks.
好，谢谢哈。我们海委会管主委，还有我们考试院考试委员，还有我们中山大学我们李校长，跟我们国家海洋研究院我们陈院长哈，那还有2位院长跟陈教授馆长跟我们主任，在座有来自各国的学者专家跟贵宾哈，大家午安，大家好。谢谢。今天真的很荣幸哈，能来参加由我们国家海洋研究院跟我们中山大学哈合作办理的2025我们 Ipmen 的研讨会哈，闭幕典礼。那国际太平洋海洋教育工作者网络就是我们Ipmen 哈成立的主要任务，在推动海洋素养跟我们传统生态知识的发展哈，那让一般的民众更了解我们海洋的价值哈。那这样深具意义的研讨会选择在我们台湾，尤其选择在我们高雄来办理哈，在这边仅以地主的身份哈，要对我们主办单位来表达感谢之意哈。那高雄市是一个海洋城市，那一直以来我们也希望朝海洋首都的目标发展哈。那我们为了配合整个海洋事务的整体发展目标，高雄市在2004年哈，将原来的高雄市政府港务局我们正名哈，把它正名成为高雄市政府海洋局。那海洋局就以既有的渔业发展的基础来扩展我们的海洋事务哈，那也在海洋产业的辅导跟海洋休闲油气的提升竞争力方面哈，非常的着力哈。那另外我们也从事防治海洋污染，还有保育海洋生态，以利永续发展。那所以说我们可以说在这整个过程中我们一直致力在海洋事务的发展。那一直到2018年我们海委会的成立，也是我们全国第一个设在南部地区的中央部会，这也展现了政府以海洋思维出发，全力投入海洋发展的决心。那高雄市这几年在整个海洋政策多元化还有海洋城市的定位越来越明显，所以我们也一直致力于我们海洋教育的推动。那我们尤其从基础教育做起鼓励我们的学校结合高雄在地的河港风貌，还有社会人文跟多元的族群文化资源，来发展特色的教育课程那高雄市政府教育局也在2021年成立了户外教育及海洋教育中心，那中里户外教育跟 海洋教育的一些业务哈，主要的目的就是希望我们高雄市的学子能更加认识海洋丰富多变的内涵啊，也能逐步发展建构整体的海洋思维啊，精神我想跟我们这次Ipmen的研讨会的宗旨是相契合哈。那未来也能强化我们全民海洋素养、共构海洋教育发展体系。那最后我们要特别强调哈，高雄市将来会持续以海山河港作为底蕴，那秉持我们联合国永续发展目标SDGs 透过我们校际以及公民团体。还有我们最重要的好伙伴，就是我们海委会跟我们中山大学我们一起来携手倍增海洋教育的推动能量致力于永续海洋的发展那最后我要预祝我们今天的闭幕活动能圆满顺利成功。那各位贵宾，大家身体健康，万事如意，谢谢大家，谢谢。
We now invite Commissioner Zhou Wenyan from the Examination Yuan to deliver his remarks.
龚主委、陆校长，还有王副秘书长，在座2位院长还有各位贵宾大家午安。我简短的致辞呢，会用中文的英文，希望大家能够更为了解。这次的研讨会是聚集在科学、海洋素养跟传统生态知识 TEK 之间的一个对话，特别是体认到科学的应用以及极限，并且保障传统族群的权利。事实上，在2018、2019年间，当我协助国家海洋研究院筹备出起草台湾的海洋基本法的时候，已经植入这个概念。依照这个法条的第10条，政府应该建立合宜机制，尊重、维护、保存传统用海智慧等海洋文化资产，保存与传承原住民族传统用海文化与权益，并兼顾渔业科学管理，显示我们的观念与看法是相同的。因此，我深信本次研讨会与会人士丰富的智慧与经验，必然是未来台湾推动海洋素养、海洋文化、海洋空间规划与海洋永续发展非常重要的参考案例。最后，我当然期望传统的生态智慧呢能够获得妥善的保存，并且能够发展为优良、多元、永续的海洋文化资产，让台湾与世界连结，使所有海洋国家都能共同繁荣，并确保全球海洋的永续性。I'm a professor of National Sun Yat-sen University and National Taiwan Ocean University. Currently, I'm also a commissioner of the Examination Yuan. This conference focuses on the dialogue between science, marine literacy, and traditional ecological knowledge, TEK. I particularly recognize the limitation of the application of the science, so that the sustainable ocean development should give priority to traditional knowledge system, and the protection of the rights of the indigenous community. In fact, in 2018-2019, when I assisted the Preparatory Office of the National Academy of Marine Research in drafting Taiwan's Ocean Basic Act, the concept was implemented. Pursuant to this is Article 10, the government should establish appropriate mechanisms to respect, maintain, and preserve marine heritage, such as traditional marine wisdom, safeguard and inherit traditional marine culture and rights of indigenous peoples, and incorporate them into scientific fisheries management. Therefore, I strongly believe that The rich wisdom and experience of the participants in this conference will surely be the important reference for Taiwan to promote marine literacy, marine culture, marine spatial planning, and sustainable ocean development in the future. Finally, I also hope that the traditional ecological knowledge can be preserved and developed into high-quality, diverse, and sustainable marine cultural heritage. Allowing Taiwan to connect with the world is enabling maritime nations to prosper together and ensure the global ocean sustainability. Thank you very much. All the best.
We invite President Li Zhihong of National Sun Yat-sen University to deliver his remarks.
Distinguished guests, esteemed participants, and friends from around the world, good afternoon. It is a great honor and a responsibility for me to stand here today. This is not only a significant moment in the history of National Sun Yat-sen University in Marine Studies, but also an important milestone in global efforts for ocean education and conservation. As one of the hosting institutions of the 20th anniversary conference of the International Pacific Marine Educator Network, we are truly delighted to be part of this meaningful event. We all know that the ocean is not just the life source of our planet. It is also the cornerstone of global climate stability and biodiversity. By combining traditional ecological knowledge with modern science, we can find innovative solutions to ocean governments and engage communities in the global efforts to safeguard our marine ecosystem. Today, the signing of the Takao Declaration emphasizes the importance of enhancing collaboration between traditional ecological knowledge and modern science, while also calling for broader engagement in marine literacy education and public participation. We are confident that it will have a profound impact on international platforms, including the United Nations Ocean Conference. As one of the pioneers in marine science and education, National Sun Yat-sen University will continue to uphold our responsibilities, deepen collaboration with international community, promote the global mission of marine conservation and sustainable development. In closing, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all the participating guests and the experts who bring your invaluable insights into this conference. Thank you.
Finally, we invite Minister Huang Jilin of the Ocean Affairs Council to deliver her remarks.
I want everybody to see me well. 我亲爱的邱委员、李校长、陈院长、副秘书长，好，各位贵宾，我想我用英文来简短的致辞哈。Distinguished guests, friends, and colleagues from around the world, it's a real honor to be here with you today as we come together to launch the Takao Declaration. This isn't just a document. It's a promise, a shared action, and a responsibility
we all hold for the ocean. Thank you all for being part of this meaningful moment. Taiwan is proud to host this conference on the 20th anniversary of Ipmen. Over the past 2 decades, so many of you have worked hard to build this network, and today's gathering shows just how far we've come. It also gives us a chance to think deeply about why ocean literacy and traditional ecological knowledge matter more than ever. We hope that the Takao Declaration will gain more visibility at the upcoming UN Ocean Conference and helps the world better understand the value of combining science with traditional wisdom. And we are confident the Takao Declaration will lead the way for ocean educators over the next decade. As we face all kinds of challenges in our oceans, climate change and biodiversity loss, pollution, we know science is important, but that's only part of the picture. The knowledge that indigenous peoples and coastal communities have passed down over generations is just as valuable. They have lived with and cared for the ocean for thousands of years. Their wisdom helps us find better ways to live in balance with nature. That's why we believe tech is not just a cultural treasure. It's essential for sustainable ocean management. It should be included in education, policy, and international cooperation, and it should be respected as much as scientific knowledge. I'd also like to share something we've been doing in Taiwan that I think reflects the spirit of this declaration. Last year, we passed the Marine Conservation Act. For the first time, it gives indigenous peoples the legal right to be consulted before conservation decisions. And in our decision-making process, we've made a mechanism that gives both indigenous communities and officials a minority veto power. This is a big step. It shows real respect for traditional knowledge and ensures that the people who live with the ocean have a voice in how we protect it. This kind of policy aligns perfectly with what the Takao Declaration calls for, bringing together science and local knowledge and putting tech at the heart of ocean policy and research. Now, let me say something about why we are here in Kaohsiung, or as it was once called Takao. Taiwan used to have a difficult relationship with the ocean. Under martial law, people were afraid to go near it. But in the year 2000, things started to change. We opened up our waterfront, starting with the Pier 2 Art Center right here in Kaohsiung. 我说的是博二艺术特区。从那里我们开启了打开海洋围墙的第一步。Since then, Kaohsiung has become one of the most vibrant marine cities in Taiwan. That's why choosing Takao as the place to launch this declaration is so meaningful. Just like we chose to place Taiwan's Ocean Affairs Council in Kaohsiung, it just makes sense. The history of Takao is deeply tied to the ocean. In 1635, indigenous peoples here encountered the Dutch. Later, the British opened the port in 1864. The Japanese expanded the harbor in 1908. Under the Republic of China, Kaohsiung grew into one of the top 6 container ports in the world, and today it shines as Taiwan's most dynamic cultural and ocean tourism hub. Now, with the launch of the Takao Declaration, we are adding a new chapter to this long maritime history, one that separates tech and ocean literacy. I truly believe this may be the most beautiful and inspiring page yet. Today's launch is just the beginning. Let's keep working together to make tech and ocean literacy a foundation for sustainable development around the world. Thank you all. Let's keep moving forward together for our ocean. Thank you. Happy 20th anniversary.
We now come to an important part of today's ceremony, the presentation of the Takao Declaration. This declaration was shaped right here in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, a city with a rich maritime heritage, whose name Takao comes from the language of Taiwan's indigenous peoples, meaning the place of bamboo. That name and this place remind us of how deeply cultural and the environment are connected. The Takao Declaration reflects our shared commitment to ocean literacy and traditional ecological knowledge, both essential to building a more sustainable and inclusive future. It brings together the wisdom of educators, scientists, indigenous leaders, and local communities from across the Pacific and beyond. It speaks to a collective vision where diverse voices and perspectives come together to protect marine ecosystems, support resilient communities, and ensure that knowledge is passed on to future generations. For Taiwan, joining this declaration carries particular significance. It reflects our ongoing engagement in global ocean work and our dedication to marine education, sustainability, and the preservation of cultural traditions. This declaration also affirms Taiwan's role as a constructive partner in international cooperation. It shows how we continue to connect science with community, tradition with innovation, and local commitment with global responsibility. This is not just a ceremonial gesture. It is a meaningful statement of shared values, of long-term responsibility, and of hope for the future. Now, to formally present the Takao Declaration, we now invite the Ipmen committee members to come to the stage. Harry Bridle from Nautilus Educational Australia. Sylvia Spadolin from the Western Pacific Regional Fisheries Management Council, USA. Dr. Mike Springer from the University of Florida, USA. Peter Romer from Ocean Networks Canada Society, Canada. Professor Tsuyoshi Sasaki from Tokyo University of Marine Science and Technology, Japan. Craig Strange from the University of California, Berkeley, USA. Natalie Davey from Saltwater Project, Australia. Leilani Duenas from the Department of Agriculture, Guam. Mark Miziasu from the Western Pacific Fishery Management Council, USA. Dr. Joanna Philippa from the University of Hawaii at Manoa, USA. Please welcome Mr. Peter Romer to present the Takao Declaration.
Thank you. 20 years after its inception, the International Pacific Marine Educators Network, Ipmen, held its 9th biennial conference in the city of Kaohsiung, traditionally known as Takao, Taiwan, on the 14th to the 17th of April 2025. The focus of this meeting was to build on the efforts to share the knowledge, expertise, and resources required to foster a fuller understanding of the ocean's value, with the aim of creating informed and responsible communities that seek to conserve, manage, and restore the integrity of ocean ecosystems in the Pacific. This year, our coalition of marine educators, scientists, and traditional practitioners concentrated on the dialogue between traditional ecological knowledge, or TEK, perspectives, and ocean literacy, highlighting Asia-Pacific examples. It is therefore important to note that human development has spanned over thousands of years, a period in which people have coexisted with the environment in various ways, accumulating lifestyle practices deeply connected to the natural world and to the ocean. In recent years, however, the rapid growth of human populations and industrialization has resulted in swift environmental changes. Since 2017, the United Nations has championed the Decade Ocean of Science for Sustainable Development and underscored the critical need for scientific support for ocean health. Nevertheless, science has played only a relatively short role in the broader history of human development. As such, it is vital to explore the ways in which TEK can serve as the foundation for the scientific data and help explain human interactions with the ocean over time. As stated above, the word Takao is the ancient name of Kaohsiung. It has been derived from the indigenous term Takao, which means a place with dense bamboo forests, and reflects the region's deep historical roots. In creating the Takao Declaration, we aim to support a global emphasis on promoting ocean literacy with TEK as a central element. Over the past 2 decades, Ipmen has built strong partnerships across the Pacific and made significant strides in advancing TEK in ocean education. However, as the United Nations promotes sustainable ocean development, we believe that it is critical to balance ocean science and TEK. The following advocacy points outline our vision for this balance. 1. Sustainable ocean development should prioritize traditional ecological systems and uphold the rights of indigenous communities. 2. Governments should be encouraged to establish frameworks that protect and support the rights of communities sharing their TEK in ocean management initiatives. 3. Culturally relevant place-based knowledge and sustainable practices in ocean conservation must be appropriately acknowledged, and TEK should be incorporated as a core component in both ocean research and policy making. 4. Meaningful partnerships between ocean scientists and the indigenous community should be promoted in a way of creating a balanced approach that incorporates both TEK and scientific knowledge for stronger data outcomes. 5. Ocean science funding should prioritize community engagement and the incorporation of TEK as being essential to achieving sustainable development. The full scope of ocean literacy should be highlighted in integrating TEK into global educational programs to foster a deeper understanding of human-ocean interactions. 6. The full scope of ocean literacy should be highlighted by highlighted and integrating TEK into global education programs. 7. An international platform for sharing TEK ocean resources, promoting cross-cultural exchange, and the preservation of ocean-related knowledge should be established. Finally, we thank the National Academy of Marine Research and the National Sun Yat-sen University for co-hosting the Ipmen 2025 conference, and we look forward to sharing the Takao Declaration with the United Nations at its third Ocean Conference in Nice, France, in June 2025. Further, our aim is to encourage all parties to support the balanced ocean science and TEK during the remainder of the decade of ocean science for sustainable development from 2021 to 2030. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. We now kindly invite the following distinguished guests to join us on stage to sign the Takao Declaration. 我们诚挚邀请以下的长官及贵宾上台，共同签署打狗宣言。Minister 管碧玲 Ocean Affairs Council. President 陈章林 National Academy of Marine Research. Deputy Secretary General 王宏荣 Kaohsiung City Government. Deputy Director 吴文静 Education Bureau of Kaohsiung City Government. Commissioner 周文燕 Examination 院 President 李志鹏 National Sun Yat-sen University. Dean 廖德玉 College of Marine Science National Sun Yat-sen University. Professor 陈建宏 National Taiwan Ocean University. Director 温志宏 National Museum of Marine Biology and Aquarium. Director 王养纯 National Science and Technology Museum. Our Ipmen committee members will now present the declaration to each of our honored guests. We kindly invite our guests to sign both of English and Chinese version of the declaration. For all other participants, you will find a bilingual copy of the declaration in English and Chinese in front of you. We invite you to sign the declaration from your seats. 敬请各位官与贵宾在中英文版的打狗宣言上签名。那我们在场其他的与会者，您桌上也备有一份中英文版的宣言，我们也诚挚邀请您在桌上进行签署。May we kindly ask our guests on stage to please hold up your signed declaration for group photo. 我们请台上的长官帮我们把宣言举起来，请摄影师帮我们合照。And please step forward for a group photo. Thank you. You're welcome to take your signed copy home to symbolize our shared commitment. 各位可以将这份签署好的打狗宣言带回家，作为我们彼此的承诺与象征，与支持的象征。Thank you, and you may return to your seats. 谢谢各位长官与这边的合作，谢谢。Now we'd like to take a group photo of everyone to remember this moment. 我们现在会请摄影师帮我们拍大合照。If you are sitting on the side, please move to both corridors so everyone can be seen. Because we cannot catch everybody on the side, so please move to the corridors. 我们可以请就是两旁的来宾们帮我们就是走到两旁这样子。So to symbolize our ocean and also Ocean Affairs Council, please guests in the front row, we can make an O side in front of your heart, an O like. And guests at the back, you can do this O, like big O in the back, and like maybe 3 rows in the front. Oh yeah, like this. Oh, it's equals to Ocean and Ocean Affairs Council. Oh, you can also take the declaration up. Hold up the declaration. And people at the back, do this. At the back. Yes. So we can see you. Oh, sorry, take the declaration first. We'll take the first picture. Is it okay? 1, 2, cheese. Now, the second gesture will be, I just say like the ocean in front of your heart, and people at the back can do a big O. Yes, perfect. And ready? 3, 2, 1. Ocean! Thank you everybody. The Cacao Declaration and closing ceremony of Ipmen 2025 is now officially concluded. Thank you all for being part of this meaningful evening. We warmly invite you to join us Ipmen 2025 banquet starting at 5 p.m. at Shi Luan Sunset Beach Resort. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
We kindly inform you our farewell dinner will be 5 o'clock. Yeah, in the resort, the beach resort restaurant. So today will be earlier, and I hope you have a good time. I invite everyone of you enjoying our farewell dinner. I think we have a very good time. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. See you later. Who knows your mouth? And I invite all of you to come out. I invite all of you to come out to take a group photo in front of the background. We invite all of you to come out to take a group photo outside. Hello. How about go out here? Yeah, we invite all of you to come up here. All of you come up here and then take a group photo first. We invite anyone who would like to join. Gloria, come on. Come in. Evan. Everyone come to the stage. We got a group photo and thank you so much. It's a great milestone.